Hi. Yesterday at noon, Roy Marcus, my oldest friend in the world, who I've known and treasured for 52 years, texted to ask me to give a toast at his wedding, which was, by my calculations, the next day. I was truly honored and humbled by the prospect. Imagine giving a toast at the wedding of the two cleverest people that you know. But I'm not someone who can easily do this sort of thing without extensive forethought and preparation. So I will begin, as Roy certainly had reason to expect, with a discussion of Crispus Attucks. As well-educated Americans, you undoubtedly know that Mr. Attucks, a victim of the Redcoats at the Boston Massacre, was the first American killed in the cause of our nation's freedom. And because of his heroism, Crispus was memorialized in many ways. He's had monuments erected in his honor, he's had schools named after him, and he's had many books written about him, including a biography geared to children called Crispus Attucks, Boy of Valor. An account of his childhood adventures which showed the reader how he evolved into a great patriot who died to help us break the yoke of British oppression. You wonder why I bring this up? Well, this book played a major role in Roy's life. And I'm aware of this role because I was in Roy's classes every year from 1st through 9th grade. And in 1st grade, I watched as Roy proudly presented to the class a book report on Crispus Attucks, Boy of Valor. And our teacher, Mrs. Francis, was duly impressed by Roy's articulate presentation about a book that was really geared to 3rd graders. In 2nd grade, our class was again assigned to read a biography, and Roy, who didn't feel like reading another book, again presented a report on Crispus Attucks, Boy of Valor. Mrs. Freed was impressed. Not as impressed as Mrs. Francis, but still impressed. In 4th grade, Mrs. Salters was even less impressed. And in 5th grade, Mrs. Killen simply rolled her eyes. And I kid you not, Roy did the same book report in 6th grade. And in 7th, I actually witnessed him writing a report on Crispus Attucks, Boy of Valor, in 10 minutes during homeroom on the day that it was due. So now I've gotten revenge for the late notice. But it's really only fitting that Roy didn't ask me until yesterday. I did worse to him. Late on the night before my wedding, my cousin confessed that he wasn't really capable of giving a wedding toast. So I immediately called Roy, knowing that he would swiftly be able to come up with something clever and tasteful and perfectly present it the next day. And of course he did. But I do not have Roy's incredible skills. So the next thing I did was I came up with what I thought was a quite reasonable idea of using a toast that I gave at a different wedding last night. I'm changing the names of the couple. But for some reason, Roy rejected that idea. So I decided to do some careful research. I Googled gay wedding toasts. And I was really surprised how many websites are devoted to this topic, but I found them to be worthless. They just provided platitudes like speak from the heart or be yourself, nothing that really helped. So all I've got is this. Roy and I have shared many life events. I ate lunch at his house every school day where he and his mother Claire and I watched Jeopardy, except on Fridays when we went to the kosher deli in the Bay Terrace Shopping Center and got a hot dog, knish, and soda for $1, including tax and tip. I've watched Roy dominate school spelling bees, impersonate Buffalo Bill in the 6th grade production of Annie Get Your Gun, perform admirably on Jeopardy, and destroy the competition on Trump Card. And he's watched me do far less impressive things. But I was never sure that Roy would find anyone who would be a good match for his unique and impressive personality and talents. Then Steve appeared. And I've observed a lot of relationships over the years, but I've never seen a better couple than Roy and Steve. Like bagels and lox, vodka and tomato juice, and New Jersey and you, they are perfect together. Roy is brilliant and extraordinarily creative and talented in multiple ways. Steve is brilliant and extraordinarily creative and talented in multiple ways. They are fully devoted to each other, intensely aware of each other's feelings, and they light up in each other's presence in a really beautiful way. And they've both risen to the occasion and helped each other through the devastating losses that they sustained the last few years. I did not have the pleasure of knowing Steve's father, but I was lucky enough to know Claire Marcus really well. An exceptional artist, as you all know, with a sharp sense of humor and a loving heart. I'm so sorry that she's not here to share her oldest son's happiest day, or at least his happiest day since his bar mitzvah at Leonard's of Great Neck. In conclusion, I'm so proud to be here with you on this joyous occasion, which was made possible by the mutual love of these two wonderful men and the belated good sense of the New York State Legislature and the United States Supreme Court.
Yes. Yes.